Welcome to this edition of Bitcoin Reef with Tone Vays and Jimmy Song. It is Tuesday, August 25th. We've got a lot going on in the news cycle these days. We have the RNC convention going on all week. Last week it was the DNC, politics coming up, voter mailing in the news, and we've got mixed results in the market today. The Dow is down, but we've got the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 up, Bitcoin also going down nevertheless. All right, Tone, start with you. How are things going on your neck of the woods?
Not bad, getting ready to do some more travel. We had a little road trip this past weekend, and day after tomorrow, flying out to BitBlock Boom, and I'll see Jimmy Song in person. Can't wait.
Excellent. Jimmy, how are you doing?
Well, things are getting back to normal. My kids are back at school, so I am very happy about that because it was like a 5-month summer break. Unfortunately, there's a lot of other school districts where the kids have to stay home and go through the soul-crushing experience of being on a Zoom call all day long. So I guess that's preparing them for the jobs they'll have eventually. I don't know, but yeah, it's well, I'm glad that my kids' lives are a little bit more back to normal than maybe some others.
Oh, good. That's lucky you. Yeah, there are a lot of parents who are still wondering and frustrated about what's going to happen this school season. With that, we do see a lot of things opening up. I'm going to start showing the screen. We've got BitBlock Boom happening, a true Bitcoin conference in Dallas. So we do see some conferences starting to run up again, and we'll have these two gentlemen. Where are they? We've got Tone Vays and we've got Jimmy Song, author and instructor, who will be speaking there. So if you want to see them in person, ask them your questions live. They'll be featured at BitBlock Boom this Thursday in Dallas. Guys, very exciting. Taking a look at some news hitting the cryptosphere, we've got this evolving our license for the next wave of MetaMask users. So MetaMask is not going to be free for all developers anymore. They want to get paid for their work. So going forward, MetaMask will be published under a new license for all end users and most application developers and nonprofits. This will not have any impact. MetaMask will continue to be free. Developers will have the same access to the MetaMask APIs that they've had in the past, enabling the same kinds of applications as before. MetaMask will continue publishing and iterating upon the wallet provider API in the public sphere to ensure a widely cross-compatible ecosystem of applications. MetaMask remains committed to publishing all code in a public repository, so you are welcome to review and audit the code base or compete in our bug bounties. Developers can still copy, modify, and distribute versions of MetaMask, yet for developers that copy, modify, or fork the MetaMask code base for commercial use, we invite you to start a conversation with us to see how we can find a path forward together. For example, if you've copied MetaMask and offer it commercially to an audience larger than 10,000 monthly active users, we would like to enter into a formal commercial agreement. Jimmy, does this seem fair? I mean, developers are working on this code, they're offering it free, and people are profiting from it. Should they get some sort of compensation in return?
Well, I mean, they can do whatever they want, and it's up to them to change their license terms. I found this story interesting though, because they essentially changed up the license terms to be from something that was very permissive, allowed lots of copying and stuff, which allowed them to get fairly popular on Ethereum. MetaMask is one of the bigger Ethereum wallet-like services and so on. The point, though, is that they couldn't really monetize any of the work that they had done. And despite the fact that a large portion of the Ethereum community uses their product, they haven't been making money. So essentially, it sounds like their developers have gotten pissed off that all of these ICOs have made bank and they haven't done anything, or they haven't gotten anything. So at this point, they're saying, well, if you forked our code, if you're an ICO that forked our code and created some sort of token, we're going to need a piece of that. So, essentially they're wanting to rent seek a little bit and take a piece of the pie that everyone else has been eating, mostly off of stupid noobs that don't understand that ICOs are a scam. So that's what's going on here.
All right, we also have a accompanying tweet here. Too long didn't read. If your app is successful and uses MetaMask, consensus claims the right to demand you pay them. From Preston Byrne. Tone, do you want to weigh in on that?
Sure, and I'm not surprised by any of this. Like all of these projects, they do nothing but pretend how they're open source and they're there to help the community. It's not about that. It's completely about getting paid. And in the beginning, when Joe Lubin has $840 billion from printing him, from getting a good chunk of the Ethereum pre-mine during the ICO, eventually that money runs out, or he doesn't want to spend any more money because Consensus, I believe, is the main, I guess, license owner of that, right, Jimmy?
Yeah, I think MetaMask comes from Consensus, yes.
Right. So eventually all of this becomes for profit, and it becomes really for profit, not all the accusations that people give to Blockstream of being a for-profit company. This is the actual for profit, while Bitcoin is still able to get a lot of developers, A, voluntarily, and B, having corporate sponsorships of those developers because they know how important Bitcoin is. This goes to show you that MetaMask is not actually that important, and a lot of these companies are not going to just pay them. They're going to go and build something themselves. But this is just another step closer to Ethereum, getting closer to that dumpster fire we've been showing in many other altcoins, and Ethereum will get there as well. I mean, look, everything in Ethereum is going to show itself when they try to go proof of stake. So all of this is just, meaningless. Like anything that happens in Ethereum is meaningless. The jump to Ethereum 2.0, if it happens sometime before the year 2040, is going to be the actual make or break for Ethereum. And I can't wait to watch that disaster.
All right. All right, so we'll see. And MetaMask has been a popular developer, and if they're starting to charge, I mean, they have the full right to do that, and we'll see what happens to their software after that. Our next story is INX crypto exchange to launch 117 million IPO next week. So this is a big story. INX Limited said it will launch its long-awaited landmark initial public offering as soon as Monday, capping a nearly 2-year journey for the startup cryptocurrency and security token exchange. It is anticipated that the offering will begin on August 24th or shortly thereafter, the Gibraltar-based company said in a press release. Also, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission posted a notice of effectiveness officially clearing the sale. As previously reported, INX has priced its 130 million tokens, which are to run on the Ethereum blockchain at 90 cents each, totaling 117 million in gross proceeds. This was smack in the middle of the target range of 80 cents to $1 per token. After offering expenses and fees to advisory firm A Labs, the sale would net up to 111 million, according to INX's latest filing with the SEC. The net proceeds would be used to build INX Trading Solutions, a regulated exchange for cryptocurrencies, security tokens, and derivatives, build a cash fund to protect the company and its customers in the event of a data breach, training execution error, or counterparty default. The instruments on offer are a hybrid of utility and security tokens. Investors could use them to pay trading fees on INX's platform. The tokens would also entitle holders to a share of company profits. The INX's sale would mark a milestone for the blockchain industry. This is what I find really interesting. It would be the first security token offering registered with the SEC and thus legally marketable to mom and pop investors. Yeah, INX's sale would also be one of the very few IPOs in the blockchain industry and almost certainly the largest. It's been a long road for the company, whose US operations are led by executive managing director Alan Silbert. His brother Barry is the CEO of Digital Currency Group, the parent company of CoinDesk, which wrote this article. So Tone, first off to you. I mean, this is a big achievement in terms of getting through the regulation set forth by the SEC. What's your thought on this IPO?
Yeah, it actually is a pretty big achievement the way you phrase it, though I do have to comment. I didn't even realize it till just now because I'm watching your screen share. Jimmy, you might get a laugh at this. So CoinDesk decided what are the top 4 most important cryptocurrencies to show the price of. And they have chosen Ripple and Chainlink over things like Litecoin and Bcash and many others. That's a little funny to me, don't you think?
Well, I mean, I guess that's what people are looking up or something. They probably got some analytics in the back that helps them or something.
All right. So, oh God, like where do we begin? So when this story broke, The Block broke this story when they revealed that all 4 members of the Magical Crypto crew, which are Fluffy Pony, Samson Mao, Charlie Lee, and Whale Panda, were all investors in this company, along with a couple of notable advisors like Jameson Lopp, Elena Satoshi, formerly of Satoshi Labs, Trezor, and Slushpool, and also helped Jimmy write the little Bitcoin book.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So she's one of the advisors and one of the co-authors of the book, one of the advisors of this company. And also Pompliano's fund, his partner. So there's a lot of notable names. Alan Silbert, of course, Barry Silbert's brother. And we were pretty critical. This is a big problem for, well, no one cares about me, but this is a big problem for shitcoin minimalists like myself. And there are 2 main problems with this project that I was very critical of from the moment I heard about it. And you can also, Christine, you can click on the next link, which is the SEC filing. And it was all in the SEC filing. It's a lot to scroll through. So I'm not even sure where in that filing the things are. But there's 2 problems here. One is this token is built on top of Ethereum. And considering how critical so many members of this company were about Ethereum, this is certainly hypocritical, to say the least. So I'm being now DM'd by other people that are like, saying what hypocrites Bitcoin maximalists are. So I would personally never be involved in any project that builds on top of Ethereum. So that's problem number 1. Now, of course, they may be able to move that token over to the Liquid sidechain, but because this is so regulatorily compliant, they may not be able to do it. Because how do you propose that? If you initially filed the paperwork that you are launching this on top of Ethereum, how do you then file paperwork saying, well, Ethereum is not actually secure and we need to move this token over to Liquid? Well, you can't say that, because then if I was a regulator, I would say, so what the hell were you doing? And how did you get us to approve this in the first place, telling us that this is obviously technologically secure? So that's problem number 1. My bigger problem with this project is the fact that this is also a utility token. And that is outright bullshit. There's absolutely no need for this exchange to be using the INX token for the utility of the exchange. This is the Binance play. This is the Binance became so rich because they made up this bullshit reason to have a utility token of their unlicensed security. So this is a licensed security, but it also serves as a utility token, basically creating speculators out of the users of the exchange. And I don't understand what nimwits are over there at the SEC that approved this. I would have been happy to advise the SEC for free if they reached out to me and told them that this is complete and utter bullshit, and approving this is making the SEC look like a laughingstock, in my opinion. So no, I am not fond of this project at all, more because of the bullshit nature of the utility token of INX than even the fact that they're building it on top of Ethereum.
So never holds back. All right, Jimmy, you've been looking at this project as well, but you weren't fond of it because it was on the Ethereum blockchain as well. Give us your thoughts.
Well, so from what I understand, they're basically admitting that this is a security, and that's at least a good step in that direction. It's instead of saying, oh, it's not a security and therefore we could trade it and things like that, they're saying we're a security, we're going to get regulated, and they've I think dotted every I, crossed every T as far as getting SEC approval. It's taken them 2 years to do it. The strange thing is, I don't know if INX actually has a product that they're actually using. I don't know of anyone that's trading on it, for example. There's supposed to be a crypto derivatives exchange.
Jimmy, I don't know anyone either. As far as I know, this is not yet a functioning product.
Yeah, so I don't know why you would pay money for an exchange that doesn't exist. Or I mean, the way it's structured, it sounds to me like an IEO, like Tone said. It's very much like Binance token or Huobi token or OKX token, or every exchange nowadays seems to have some sort of token associated with it. But it's a token to an exchange that doesn't have any volume. So I don't know why anyone would buy it necessarily. Well, but that's it.
But Jimmy, it's a security, right? So they're actually, you own a piece of the company. They will owe you you're buying into a security. It's like a pre-IPO basation. Though it's weird.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, Bitfinex has something similar, right? Like they have an IEO token. You get a portion of their profits or something if you own it at a certain point.
Yeah, but this is regulated. This is regulated. Yeah. Also, the CoinDesk article refers to it as an IPO, and Jameson Lopp's tweet says not an IPO. So, what the hell is going on? So if you'd the next Twitter, probably the next link. So, I mean, I didn't. Oh, probably the next one. Okay. It's the Jameson Lopp stuff. Yeah, that one. Not an equity offering. So
not an ICO is what he said.
No, but above that it says not an equity offering. So and then meanwhile, the CoinDesk article says IPO. So
and presumably they know what they're talking about since Barry is Alan's brother. So but yeah, it's kind of a weird thing. I do see some merit to having a security token. It's basically like an equity share in the company. What I don't like is what Tone said. If it has some sort of quote unquote utility, some speculative element, that to me is very much sort of like trying to print your own money. I don't know if they're doing that necessarily. It seems like all the tokens already exist, and they've a lot of it has gone out to the advisors, including the Magical Crypto Friends and so on. But it's so, well, I find it very strange because, first of all, why would you build on the Ethereum network? I like doing that. You have at the very least a deadline of Ethereum 2.0. Are you going to move to Ethereum 2.0, or are you going to go move to another blockchain? You have to. It's a very temporary measure by all means. Like you can't stay on there. So I don't know what they're expecting with that. And the fact is, if you want to move these tokens, now you have to pay these insane gas fees because of all the DeFi stuff that's going on. So it's not exactly a great choice to put it on that platform. And I don't know, like a lot of the people that are sort of defending this token seem to be saying, well, they're not trying to be money, it's a security. And we're but like all these other tokens that are trying to be money, yeah, they're shit coins, but this one's not because it's not trying to be money. But then why are you building on a shitty platform? Like, why are you doing it on Ethereum? We know all the vulnerabilities it has. We know all the crappy things you have to go through. So I mean that part doesn't make any sense. If there was anybody competent technically, what they would have done is moved over to Liquid or something and tried to get it done there. I don't know. Maybe there were regulatory hurdles or whatever.
It was a regulatory, because like this was apparently like multiple years in the making, and Liquid wasn't ready, so they couldn't file it as Liquid. So,
but I mean, you could at least like try to move it or something. But like as it is, I don't like it. I don't think anyone like. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they know something I don't, but I don't see this as something that's a project that's to be trusted. It's built on a crappy platform, and if you build on a crappy platform, you have all the consequences that belong to that platform. Right now, it's you know, like you have all sorts of scalability concerns. You have you know, this Ethereum 2.0 on the horizon. You have hard forks every week. You have a proof of stake transition that's going to happen. Like all of those things matter to this token because it's on that platform. So I don't understand why, like how you can just sort of dismiss that and say, oh, it's okay because, you know, we've registered with the SEC. No, you still have all the problems of the platform that you're on. And I don't think you can, there's any getting away from that. And trying to sort of hand wave it away is, I think, kind of dishonest. You need to like, and you know, Alan, whoever is watching this, if you're watching this, I would like to know why you continue to be on Ethereum other than it was the most liquid market and we wanted to make a whole bunch of cash. If it isn't a cash grab or some compliance thing, why are you on there, right? Like, I mean, if those are your reasons, I don't think it's a very interesting project. And if those are not the reasons, then you need to give much better reasons because this is not a good platform.
Here's one more thing. If you go back to that article, Christine, this is a registered security. That means it cannot trade on Binance because Binance doesn't have a license to trade registered securities. So you can't actually trade this on any shitcoin exchange, which is the main reason you launch an ERC20 is to be trading on a shitcoin exchange. So what the hell is the point of using Ethereum from a technological point of view? Even if it was scalable, even if Ethereum was a good platform, what is the point? Because if you scroll down, you see that there is a centralized company that maintains that security. I forgot the name of it. It's there somewhere.
I think it was A something. I forget. But yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, TokenSoft, something like that.
Oh, TokenSoft.
Yeah, TokenSoft, the registration agent. Yeah, and that's I mean, if it's gonna be centralized in this way anyway, why use Ethereum at all? You can use a SQL database and it'd be like 100 times cheaper. The nice thing about this is, I guess you can have you know, like easier trading for people that already know this stuff. But like, you know, the reason why you would do it is for marketing purposes. And if you're doing it for marketing purposes, who the hell are you marketing to? Other, you know, holders of other Ethereum tokens or something like that? It just, I don't like it. If they were being honest about it, they could, you know, do a real IPO on the New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ or something, or they can have a centralized database and get SEC approval and then just go from there. Because all of the investors have to be, you know, what do they call it? Approved in some way. So like
accredited.
Yeah, accredited. Yeah, you have to be an accredited investor anyway. So like what? Like this boggles the mind why you need to be on Ethereum, period. And I don't think anybody, Jameson Lopp or Samson Mao or Charlie Lee or Fluffy Pony or Whale Panda, I don't think any of them have answered that question. Why are you on Ethereum if you can just do a centralized thing? Because this whole thing is centralized anyway. And you have all of the vulnerabilities and all of the drawbacks of Ethereum that you have to deal with now. Why would you do that unless it's to grab all of the Ethereum, you know, noobs or Ethereum idiots that want to buy whatever token comes out? Like, why? Like that's the main question for me.
Well, and I'm more, dumbfounded with the utility aspect of the coin, but that was my biggest complaint. But this the problem with being a security. This is why Ripple doesn't want to lose that lawsuit that they're a security. Sure, if they lose that lawsuit, they'll get a fine from the SEC. But that's not a big deal. Ripple has $1 billion, which they may not have if they're a security. Because if Ripple becomes a security, if they get classified as a security, it has to be delisted from every shitcoin exchange unless they have a license to trade securities. And none of them do. Because if they did, they would be trading Apple stock and not, scam coin number 300 down the coin market cap list.
Yeah. And I don't know. Like that said, it does sound like they're having fun with this. If Christine, if you want to go to that first tweet over there in your tab. Samson was saying, unbelievable. Adam Back just fired me for investing. And then, of course, Adam responded and said, nah, they know what to hodl. It's like, I think people react to tokens due to shitcoin overload. INX is a legit investment structure and a legit business as any startup, but way more transparent. I get that they are actually a business and they've gone through all of the work of doing that. I just question why they're on Ethereum. And I think that's the question that everyone wants to know. If you're not really a shitcoin, then you would be on something more legitimate than the shitcoin capital of the world. It's kind of like saying, well, we're not a Ponzi scheme, but we're going to market where every other Ponzi scheme is marketing. That just doesn't ring very true to anybody. Right?
And I like that first reply. Is it on a legit blockchain? Adam, answer that, because I would love to see that answer if you scroll down.
No.
American Hodl answered for him.
Yeah, so this is the part that's confusing to me, and I don't know. Maybe they'll answer, maybe they won't. But I mean, it seems like the worst of all worlds is that you went through all of this work to become a registered security, but you're on the most vulnerable, technologically inferior chain that you could be on. Why would you do that unless it's to market to the people that are on that chain, which, to be fair, is fairly significant.
Well, for me, right, I understand why it's on there, because the person in charge is Alan Silbert, and we know how much, him and his brother love shitcoins. But the reason you're supposed to pick up Jameson Lopp as an advisor is to avoid disasters like this. So I'm not sure how Jameson is advising them if they're being built on Ethereum.
Yeah, I don't know. These are all questions that the community wants to know, but I don't know. I haven't seen anything on Twitter that sort of answers this in a straightforward way. And I don't know, if they don't answer, that I think speaks for itself.
And I gotta say, tweets like that from Samson bother me as well, because most of the people on Twitter are grossly immature. And even my moderators in my live chat are not sure if Samson is joking or not. You are a C-level manager of a company that's actually important. And to me, this is unprofessional.
All right. So I'm going to defend Samson a little bit, because he is a master troll and he knows how to get attention and do things like that. He's obviously bringing more attention to the INX token by doing it this way. And there is sort of this outcry, and it's being current. I think it's on brand with what he kind of does, which is to stir up people a little bit and make fun of them. And a lot of people, I think, wanted to believe that this tweet was true. And they probably commented in that in his tweet thread, but Adam responding obviously makes it clear that he was trolling. But he was kind of hired as a troll to begin with, so I don't mind it too much.
Which also is not ideal. Again, I don't run a company. There's a reason why I'm not a CEO of a big company. I don't want to deal with these headaches. And Adam, good luck to you.
Hey, Samson's good at marketing. What can I say? He's been very good at it.
Well, I would still say it is an achievement to get this done. They probably to be the first, they probably wanted to use one of the biggest hurdles as an exchange, getting STOs is you need volume, you need liquidity, you have to resolve settlement issues. They probably thought Ethereum was the fastest, easiest way to get through those problems, those liquidity issues, and has that community following to be the first. And they are going to make a lot of money out of this. I see a comment from one of our audience members, Dumbo, saying they got in at 1 cent, sale prices at 90 cents. So they're going to, 90x on their returns. So it's certainly going to be a profitable win for them.
Well, it's 90x if they find people to buy into it. And because it's a KYC and you need to be an accredited investor, and if they follow all the guidelines, it's actually not easy to get out early on in these investments. So we'll see how it goes.
I question whether or not they're going to have sufficient liquidity given all the hurdles. But this is why it's kind of useful to see how something like this does. The fact that it's a quote unquote IPO means that it's actually listing somewhere. I mean, it's I guess on the Ethereum blockchain. But yeah, I mean, this will give us data regardless of whether or not you think this is a good project or whatever.
I'll read another comment from the audience. Glenn Cooper saying, per the INX agreement, except as otherwise required by law, subscriptions may not be withdrawn or canceled by subscribers. That sounds a little dangerous there.
Subscriptions of what? On their service or something else?
I think they're on their service.
What's their service? I thought it was an exchange.
For their INX agreement.
Oh, okay. I guess it's to become accredited or something like that.
All right. Going on to our next story. Let's check it out. Samourai wallet has not disclosed this in the past. Furthermore, if you run your own dojo node, they don't have any of your information. Don't trust, verify. Breaking critical vulnerability found in Samourai wallet. SW has your XPub. That means one signature from one old man would be enough to reveal all users' past, current, and future transactions. Don't trust, verify. So we have an analysis.
That's a different one. That's a different one. So basically, yeah, this is a little confusing too. I should have provided some more. Let me do this one. So Samourai, we have Samourai wallet and Wasabi wallet, and they're both. They're two of the more privacy-focused wallets we have, as they provide users some privacy tools. But both companies really don't like each other, and they kind of go at it to expose the other company as to why their privacy solution isn't very good. Now, in reality, until we have more layers on top of Bitcoin, like Taproot and Schnorr, nobody's privacy is going to be all that great. And so for some, like just by coincidence this week, both Wasabi and Samourai were under fire for their claims that they have good privacy solutions, where in reality, they're not that great. But also none of this is new. We all knew that. And the fact that these companies constantly try to expose the other one's flaws is also, I guess, healthy, more healthy than unhealthy. But I like both of these wallets, and I like both of the people behind the wallets. And I wish they got along a little bit better. And this was a little more democratic than it currently is. And we'll let Jimmy talk about more the technological specifics.
Yeah, so this one, it was kind of done in sort of a sarcastic way, but basically the off-chain Bitcoin's total, what he was saying is basically, hey, it's a critical vulnerability in Samourai because they have your XPub. And that's something that's been known for a long time, but they're presenting it, they're making fun of how Samourai disclosed the Wasabi bug as something super critical, when in this person's view it wasn't that critical, and they don't think it's that big of a deal, but they're making it sound like much bigger than a deal than it is. So they took an issue from Samourai, and they're sort of exaggerating it as with this tweet. So that's kind of what's going on here. These two wallets developers do not like each other. They really don't like each other, and they've been going at it for years now with respect to how private they are and so on. So yeah, I mean, it's yeah. So if you didn't get the sarcasm in that tweet, that's basically the idea.
Yeah, I didn't get the sarcasm in that tweet, and the majority of Twitter didn't get it either. Because a lot of people replied, yeah, but we all knew this about Samourai. They were even pretty public about it, last year. So it was just, we just want to point out, guys, I like them both. Like, they're good efforts. And like I said, I really wish they were a little more civil to each other, because I would love to have both of them present at Understanding Bitcoin next year. Last year when we did it, it was only Wasabi, but I'm hoping they'll both come to the event, but we may have to, make sure we have some security between them. Yeah, look, we like you both, guys. Keep trying.
They've been at conferences together before. It's not an unheard of thing.
Nice. Samourai versus Wasabi. But we do see a bit more trouble with the Wasabi wallet in this report. So the mid-July Twitter hack thrust Bitcoin back into public awareness after reports of inflows of coins scanned by the Twitter hacker into Wasabi wallet. We began an analysis of those flows to put together a new OXT research report. In late July 2020, we began to review the code of both the Wasabi wallet client and the Wasabi CoinJoin coordinator, looking for idiosyncrasies in the CoinJoin implementation that could possibly be exploited by a malicious actor to de-anonymize mixed transactions. During these reviews, the OXT research team found 2 vulnerabilities in the Wasabi wallet client and coordinator code. On August 17th, 2020, we confirmed these vulnerabilities were able to be reproduced in the wild. We marked these vulnerabilities as critical and began the process of private responsible disclosure with ZK Snacks Limited, a Wasabi wallet operating entity. On August 19th, we were made aware that the Wasabi wallet team did not accept the results in this disclosure, but have not provided any further details at this time. And just quickly with the well, first of all, Jimmy, give us your take. What's happening here?
Well, this was published by the Samourai wallet guys. That's okay. What the previous tweet was being a reply to. So the Samourai, I mean, Tone doesn't like that they're sort of, not nice to each other or whatever. But part of the benefits of them being enemies is that because both their code bases are open source, they pour through it line by line looking for vulnerabilities, trying to discredit the other. And that's essentially what Samourai did with Wasabi. And they found this particular vulnerability where if you do, a coin join in consecutive, you do consecutive coin joins, you basically can be de-anonymized. And Wasabi made fun of them by saying, well, Samourai does this. And, that's essentially what happened here. But yeah, Wasabi does have something that they probably should fix, and the Samourai guys were very helpful, I guess, in pointing this out. But this is what happens when you have guys that really hate each other, like Wasabi and Samourai, and that are continuously looking to discredit the other. In a sense, it's when you have a competitor, it makes you it takes you that much further. And I have no doubt in like 10 years time or something like that, they'll come to respect each other much in the same way Magic Johnson and Larry Bird did. They might not like that there's a competitor that's just as good or maybe even better than them, but it's pushing them to do cooler and more interesting things, and that's not a bad thing.
Tone, do you want to jump in on there?
No, that's it. I think we've both said plenty on this issue.
All right, so our next story, Bitcoin for strategic cash reserve, why we're holding Bitcoin as a reserve asset. So would you rather save money in a currency whose supply is inflating each year, or would you rather save in a currency whose terminal supply is programmatically fixed? Given everything going on, this is an article from Chris Gimmer, given everything going on in the global economy, this is the question we've had to start taking seriously as Snappa continues to scale and produce growing amounts of free cash flow. It became even more important when our bank slashed the interest rate of our high interest savings account to 45 basis points earlier this year. That means that the purchasing power of our Canadian and US dollars is actually decreasing after adjusting for inflation. Fortunately, I believe we now have a far superior savings technology available to us. That technology is Bitcoin. After falling down the rabbit hole and spending hundreds of hours studying the underlying protocol and all the game theory behind it, we began steadily accumulating Bitcoin beginning in March of this year. This position now makes up a significant percentage of our company's overall cash reserves. In this article, I will explain full reasoning behind that decision. Tone, give us some background on Chris Gimmer and your thoughts on
I
entering.
Not really familiar with this CEO nor his company, so this was news to me. But the blog post that he put up was really, really good. I mean, he talked about the issue of money. He referenced Nick Szabo's article, which I recently read. It's called Shelling Out right there. Mm-hmm. And something Nick Szabo wrote around the year 2000 or 2002 about the very early forms of money. So when Saifedean was writing his book, the Bitcoin Standard, which is also referenced a little bit lower, Saifedean began his monetary journey probably about 1,000 years ago, back when it was still with seashells. But Nick Szabo took that a lot further. Nick Szabo's research was more on the very primitive cultures. We're talking like way in the BC years. I think Saifedean started in the BC years as well, but not as far as Nick Szabo went. And it was a pretty well-written article. It references what do you call Plan B's stock to flow model as well. If you scroll down, and Plan B wrote a model to give you a mathematical view of stock to flow. Oh, you went too far. Just those charts above, right there. Yep. This was his original model, and then he updated it. So the original model, I mean, this was way behind, as you can see. Bitcoin was in 2020, and it was not. I mean, it was a little bit different. If you look at the next picture. And I really don't think Bitcoin is going to go to $200,000 in the very near future. I could be wrong there, which is what this model is suggesting. And we will see. This model is coming dangerously close to an area where the price of Bitcoin really needs to skyrocket to the upside. So I hope that happens. I hope he's 100% right on this. And that's why we hodl. So I thought this was great. This is another company that has put their Bitcoin in. And what I found really interesting about this piece is that they started buying Bitcoin in March of this year when Bitcoin crashed. That's also the time where I went bullish. And I wonder how many other companies started buying Bitcoin and how many other companies are smart enough to be buying Bitcoin. But here's what bothered me, and then I'll let Jimmy speak. If you scroll up, Christine, all the way up to the top, this is his own blog post. And Snappa is his company. What happens when you click on that link? Because it doesn't work for me. Right. So this is a little concerning. And it's the same link on their Twitter page as well. So it's great that you're buying Bitcoin. But now that you have some money that Bitcoin has tripled, please fix your website.
It looks like he's a SaaS company, according to his. Yeah, I'm an entrepreneur and the co-founder of Snappa, a SaaS app that helps non-designers create online graphics. He's been bootstrapping the company himself and buying into Bitcoin. Jimmy, you want to weigh in?
Yeah, so this is the third company in as many weeks, I think, that has come out and said that they're using Bitcoin as a reserve asset. The first was MicroStrategy. The second was a company, restaurant, family restaurant company with a chain. They started using it, and this is the third one that we're aware of. I mean, this seems to have happened like sort of under our noses without any of us knowing that this is going on. But I think this is, first time, once is a coincidence, or once is, an event, twice is a coincidence, three times it's a trend. And I think this is definitely a trend. There are a lot of people with money that are trying to figure out what to do with it, because we know that the US dollar is inflating at insane levels, right? $7 trillion printed in the last 4 or 5 months. And the M2 money stock is something, went from 13.5 trillion to like 18.5, something like that. So the US dollar is going to lose purchasing power, maybe not right away, but it will eventually. So it's not really safe to put it in there. And even Warren Buffett is buying, gold mining stocks and so on, because they realize this is happening. So the fact that these companies are looking to put their dollars in something else, I think could be the beginning of this giant trend. And as much as Tone doesn't like the stock to flow model, I think it has a chance of coming. Like,
It's not
these companies have hundreds of millions of dollars. Like you put, just a small fraction of your reserves into Bitcoin, or a small fraction of those companies actually do that. That's going to put an insane pressure on demand for Bitcoin, and that given the fixed supply, that can only cause Bitcoin to get to insane levels as well.
Yeah, I'll remind everyone, we did see MicroStrategy buy in $250 million worth in Bitcoin earlier this month, and so we do see companies piling in behind them.
I want to mention MicroStrategy real quick. So I took a look. So MicroStrategy stock went up like 10% on the day they announced that they have bought Bitcoin. And it has gone up an additional 10% in the last 10 days since then. So MicroStrategies is up like 20% since making the announcement. Unlike Barrick Gold, once Warren Buffett announced that he's in Barrick Gold, it popped that morning for like, I don't know, 1.5 or something like that, 3%. But since then, it's been down more than it's been up. So if you got into that stock after the news broke, you are down 1.5%, while the stock market is up 1.5% since that day. And they both happened on like almost the same day. MicroStrategies, on the other hand, if you got in that day, you're still up an additional 10%.
Yeah. Yeah, it's clear that this is something that every CFO is going to have to consider for their balance sheet. And if you don't, you're going to probably get sued at some point by your shareholders saying you're not managing the money that you have, or the cash balance that you have very well.
I also want to go on the record that I don't hate the stock to flow model. I hate it when people try to apply it to short-term trading. That is a really bad idea. If you are using the stock to flow model for your hodl strategy, that's great. If you are a position trader, if you're looking to enter, once every 6 months, try to take profit at the top, it's great. But if you are a short-term trader, where you're only gonna, that's not the model for you guys. Hate to break it to you.
All right. So we see more people piling onto Bitcoin, and we see some major tech companies accepting Bitcoin as well. Uber's former CSO charged with paying 100,000 in Bitcoin to hide massive data breach. The Department of Justice announced in a press release today that Joseph Sullivan, former chief security officer of Uber, allegedly tried to cover up a 2016 hack that compromised data of millions of users and drivers. A criminal complaint charged Joseph Sullivan with obstruction of justice with the attempted cover-up of the 2016 hack of Uber Technologies Incorporated. The press release discusses how rather than report the 2016 breach, Sullivan allegedly took deliberate steps to prevent knowledge of the breach from reaching the FTC. Sullivan allegedly sought to pay the hackers off by funneling the payoff through a bug bounty program in which a third-party intermediary arranges payment to so-called white hat hackers who point out security issues but have not actually compromised data. An interesting way to cover up a data breach. Tony, you want to weigh in on that one?
Probably more in Jimmy's domain here, but I mean, the Bitcoin part of it is that they demanded payment in Bitcoin, which just continues to make Bitcoin very, very valuable asset. This is Uber messed up. They should have disclosed it. And this is what happens. Everyone thinks they can get away with it. A lot of people in the shitcoin space have gotten away with probably way worse offenses than this. And this guy didn't get away with it. And it does make the headline as a news story. I just felt that this was somewhat important to be aware in general that, bad decisions when running a company have very severe consequences, and it's not worth it. I mean, he had no reason to cover this up. He should have, told the authorities about it.
I'm going to disagree with you there, Tone, because I've worked at a lot of different companies. And I can tell you that most of the time when you have some sort of data breach or something like that, most companies, their first instinct is to cover it up. And for a good reason, because you're going to get sued by your customers. You're going to get sued by or get arrested or do, like all sorts of penalties that come upon you due to various regulations and laws and stuff like that. So most of the time, they're going to try to pay it off. I mean, $100,000 sounds like a lot, but it is nothing to Uber. That is less than 1/4 of an engineer that you're going to need. 1/4 of the salary of a single security engineer. That's actually pretty good. And the level, rather than investing in security, which is what in an ideal world they would be doing, instead they just pay off $100,000 whenever these breaches happen or whatever, or they try to make the problem go away. And that, and oftentimes that makes financial sense. And that's the unfortunate reality of a lot of these companies is that they don't really have ethics or morals. They'd rather do whatever is best for their bottom line. And that's an unfortunate side effect of sort of like the economics of everything is that people tend to prioritize money more than anything else. So, in a sense, this is probably just the tip of the iceberg. I guarantee you there have been many other companies that have gone through something similar where they paid off bounties that, like if you do the cost benefit analysis, it's like, well, we could pay $100,000 to this guy, or we can hire 4 security engineers for $1 million and we might not even fix the problem. So this is just how it goes.
All right.
All right. Well, Jimmy has a slightly different take, but this is more his domain than mine.
And we do want to remind people that, we want to go to the mempool actually first. Let's take a look at what's going on with the Bitcoin transactions, Jimmy.
Yeah, so it is Tuesday. So usually you can see the pattern that happens is that we clear all weekend. And then Monday, the transactions come in with a vengeance. And then it goes back down overnight. It looks like for Monday, there were a ton of 1 Satoshi per byte transactions that came on. That is filling most of the mempool, and those 1 Sat per byte transactions didn't clear overnight, but pretty much everything else did. But today it's there. I guess because of the price action or whatever. Fees are significantly higher. You're going to have to put in somewhere around 80, 90 Satoshi per byte if you want to get it on the next block. If you're willing to wait overnight, I'm going to guess that 5 to 6 will be plenty. You'll be in that blue band there. and that'll be able to clear and so on. But yeah, this is totally normal behavior. We had something like that last week, as you could see. Like I guess it was Wednesday of last week, and we'll see similar things this week as well. You know, if you want 1 Satoshi per byte transactions, they're probably not going to clear until the weekend at the very least.
Cool. And we want to remind everyone that you can buy Jimmy's book, Programming Bitcoin. Learn how to program Bitcoin from scratch, learn how to program a Bitcoin library with this hands-on guide from one of the leading teachers on Bitcoin and Bitcoin programming. Author Jimmy Song shows you the basics, including the math, blocks, network, and transactions behind this popular cryptocurrency and its blockchain payment system. You'll also learn how to simplify payment verification and how proof of work works. Thank you very much, Jimmy.
Thank you.
And we also want to find out what's been going on with the markets with a rundown from Tone.
Sure, but let me pull up the BitBlockBoom website because I want to point it out one more time. All right, we got it. Here we go. I did a video this morning, so this is going to be very, very quick. Let me click on this first and go there. All right. So if you are near Dallas, Texas, please come down to BitBlockBoom. Jimmy and I are speakers at BitBlockBoom. Is going to be a great time. There's not that many people speaking or attending, but really looking forward to that. Okay, so this morning, I was looking at the 1-hour chart of Bitcoin right here, and I said that Bitcoin was perfect for a short opportunity right at 11,000, even above 11,500, so 11,520. And I was looking for a drop somewhere in between these two red lines and then a rebound back towards this red line. That looks like exactly what happened. I would not be still holding that short, especially after this green arrow showed up on the MRI. But even when this candle shows up with this giant green volume spike, this was basically the exhaustion of the down move. So somewhere, if I did mention 11,100 probably several times this morning. So those of you that were short probably did well on this short-term trade. I would not be short right now. I would certainly be taking my profit and I would wait. If Bitcoin is not able to get back above this red line, I would then expect it to go lower and break these lows. At the moment, I am not very bullish on Bitcoin. Here's the daily chart. We just made a new swing low. I'm really wondering how the rune indicator is reacting. It is not yet rising. We probably need another day or two. I am certainly do not want to be holding short-term bullish positions at this moment. The candle is almost over. This is not a great close to the candle. The wick at the bottom is not that bad. The CMF is still green, but it is. I'm already seeing signs. If tomorrow is another rough day, that is definitely going to go lower. The MACD, the RSI, they're not in your favor. And the ADX is also getting ready to start favoring the bears, but it still needs a few more days to get back over this 20 area. So not great things right now for Bitcoin, unless this candle really turns around. The bigger the shadow is at the bottom, the better it is for a chance to get back to the top. I would not want to be short-term long at this point in time. That's pretty much the short end of that. I am also paying attention to gold because gold is in a rough spot as well. A drop below 1920 will probably accelerate gold further to the downside. Quick peek at the S&P 500. And there was another update for the S&P 500. We are now significantly above the prior all-time high. This is absolutely crazy, but this is our current world. All right, that is a very brief look at Bitcoin.
Thank you very much, Tone. We are seeing unemployment numbers continue to go down. Output is down as well. So the economy hasn't been going so great this year, but that could also be impacting on the markets. Thank you very much. We have Tone, host of the Financial Summit, Bitcoin consultant and educator and trader. And we have Jimmy Song joining us, Bitcoin programmer, author of Programming Bitcoin. And I'm Christine Lee, a journalist in New York. Thank you for joining us on this edition of Bitcoin Brief on Tuesday, August 25th.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for watching. And I have to say, unfortunately, the Financial Summit is being canceled this year. Indonesia and Bali will not open the country until the beginning of next year. So we are just postponing the conference by a full year. And we will see you in Bali in November of 2021.
Well, that sucks. I'm going to say fiat delenda, this song is done.